volume's off. Let me fix that.
Everybody's on?
I hear you.
Hey, there you are. Hey, Brandon, what's up, man?
I am. Oh, I'm in the dark.
Think about it.
What's that?
Morning. I don't know why you couldn't get in, Mickey.
You know what? It's me.
Oh, because everybody was coming in. I thought, oh my God, what happened to her again? No.
Right, that would be the worst. That's the worst.
It's just, I mean, the market's just very difficult for buyers, let's just say. So just a couple examples. I'm showing a house this afternoon. I called the agent yesterday. I said, how many showings do you have scheduled so far? He said 56. So now,
Oh.
yeah. And now this morning he said offers are due tomorrow at noon. So we'll have time to look at it, write an offer if she wants to. And yeah, it's just too many buyers, not enough homes for sale. So
Yeah.
it's hard.
I had another client of mine get $50,000 over asking price. 50.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah, so that's my report. I'm just trying to keep up. I feel like a ping pong ball because people are emailing me all the time. Can I see this? Can I see this? And with all the coming soon properties, it's like, you know, we're scheduling anyway. They get filled up quickly. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, Janet Mills, give us your update.
I just feel like work to do. I made a goal a few months ago. So, okay, Janet Mills, graphic designer. I made a goal to do some learning during this time. So every day I've done a Zoom conference. I've been taking like 45 minutes. I've been taking advantage of that because these are free and virtual only this year. And then next year you'll need to fly to them and get your corporation to pay $4,000. So I kept on that promise, and I just have lots to do. Lots to learn.
Lots to learn. All right, Danny.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, Danny, give us your update.
My update is that it's finally warm enough to work on resin again. And I am learning how to dry flowers so that when I have my shop, the flowers that are nearly dead, I can dry them out and turn their petals or turn them into bookmarks to sell.
Yep.
Out of resin or bracelets. I have a few new molds. I have keychains and all kinds of stuff. So.
Oh, good. Are you going to do a product showcase later?
I don't have any products, but I can show you the molds.
Oh, well, there we go. Okay, we'll tune in.
I have
We'll
them.
tune in. We'll
I
tune
keep them in my big bag of everything.
Okay. Good. Well, I'll call for those at the end.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going now. Okay. Dawn, where you been?
Hi, apparently in the dark. Look at this. I don't know how to fix that. I tried the spring light. It gave me like just a blur. So I'm just gonna be a little mysterious today, I think. So where I've been, yeah, on that housing market, we were lucky enough to buy 5 acres before that snuck away from us. So next year we'll be living in Afton. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful location.
And where will you be living?
Afton.
Oh God, I love Afton. Oh, you're gonna love it.
Oh yeah, our road is exactly 1 mile from Afton Alps. So it's 65th, but it's off of 70 there. So it's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So that's pretty exciting. And like Janet, I've also been taking advantage of some of the online learning. Karen had told me about that in the past. And so with that, I'm actually in the middle of 14 classes, but I also signed up for 10 more classes through the Great Coursework, I think it's called. And so when I get a chance, I'll also be starting some of that too.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Okay, Brandon, I'm coming down to you. Are you in the car? Are you just coming off of work now?
No, I'm here. Oh, yeah, I just got off work. I'm really tired. But yeah, so I'm Brandon. I'm a sustaining engineering process technician. I kind of dabble in a little bit of everything. Currently got a couple business things I'm thinking about trying out.
Good.
But sorry,
And,
okay.
That's okay. Well, you'll be really dark. Okay. Well,
Oh.
if you have stuff that you want to put in, remember the chat bar is here. So, and this is Brandon's first class. Brandon was a student of mine from years ago. So welcome back.
What is a sustaining engineer?
That's a really complicated question. Essentially, what we do is we sustain the process. So I work in the semiconductor industry. We make like little microchips and what have you. And we do this through a process. We have multiple layers of stuff that we stack on top of each other, and it's my job to ensure that we meet our quality standards and that we adhere to the process. That's the easiest way to break that down.
Yep, that went well.
Brandon's a brainiac, but he likes to make things. He's very good at making stuff. So Brandon, I'm excited about that. So you can jump in anytime, but I do know you just pulled off of a shift. So thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Christine, give us your update.
No problem.
My update. So I don't know what an update would be, but my name is Chris Bongiovanni. Let's see, I'm a life coach who helps women discover themselves so they can show up authentically in their marriage. And what's new? Not much. I'm creating a 6-week course to launch into my 6-month program. That's what's new.
Good, good. Okay, Donna, I'm going to jump on to you. Who's posing as Carlos Diaz?
Oh, Carlos was posing as Donna over the weekend. He was in a chess tournament.
Oh.
I will change that shortly. My name is Donna McCurdy, and I have a business called NW2 Playful Art. And the first venture of NW2 is called Soccer Birds. And so right now, Soccer Birds has a product called, is a coloring book, but hopefully it'll be much more as time goes by. And I'm currently pursuing how to make this a fundraiser. I've been working with Janet Mills, and Janet, shout out to Janet. She's a good listener and a good person to have a conversation with when you have questions about graphic design. And so anyway, I'm excited to, for those of you who have known me this past year, it's been a little, what should we call it? A little slow and sluggish. And I mean, really, it's been quite a year. And so I feel like I'm beginning to start moving again, and so I'm just pursuing some of the ideas that I've had all along, and here's a really exciting thing. And so I love Illustrator, but I don't know much about it. I took a community education class like 5 years ago. I mean, it was a long time ago. It was the same time I met my artists who drew the coloring book. That's how long ago I took it. And so I've come across a class, Bonnie Christine's surface pattern design, and it just started 2 days ago. It's a 6-week class. Christine, I think I kind of know what you like. She had a free intro class, and you take that and you get all interested in it, and then you sign up for it. So maybe that's what you have going, Christine. It was really very clever idea. And anyway, it's almost like a trade school for Illustrator, and that's all issue. I only teach you what you need, nothing you don't. And so I'm excited. I'm excited. When's the last time you heard those words come out of my mouth? I'm excited.
That's fantastic. Okay, yeah. Karen, give us your update, and then I'm going to go jump into class.
I don't hear you.
Nope, still muted. Do you know sign language?
I know everything.
Now we know.
Yeah, I know everything. What do you want to know? Let's see. I like everybody, like the other couple people, I've been taking classes. I use art in my practice. I'm a life coach, and I took a few classes in transformational coaching, which is really interesting because it's really at the heart of what happens is that if you want to change, you have to change your mind. And so I'm working on mindset. I have a few things I'm going to be putting out about mindset. And I've been I took three classes from the Brooklyn Arts Center, which is a lot of fun. I made a book. I haven't finished it, but I made a book. And while you're doing stuff like this, it really sparks your creative mode here. So if you're feeling stuck about something, sit down and just draw on paper. It doesn't have to be anything. Just draw. Oh, I'm the executive director of Rich Chicks, and we sponsor this meeting, which has been amazing, just year in and year out. And we have people that are with us from the beginning and people who come and go. And it's just wonderful to hear everybody's stories and how they're doing, even when they're a little slow, like Donna McCurdy, who is now coming to life.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
I tell you,
So-
this has been a sustaining meeting for me. Just like if nothing else, I came to this meeting. Whew.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Right. I am so
We're glad
glad.
everyone's here. So if you have a problem, we work on that too. So if you have something you want people to look at, you just put it in the chat box and we'll get to it.
All right.
Okay.
I'm sending a direct message. Hold on. Okay.
Direct message to the chat box.
That what?
Where does the direct message go? To the chat box?
Oh, no, you can, yeah, the direct message, but sometimes one of you will have a question for me. So then you'll direct message me, not just to everyone. So I was responding to a direct message. So Danny, you can share your news now.
I applied so I've been struggling to find work for a year. The VFW I worked at went under, and I applied at Fort Snelling State Park and William O'Brien State Park. And I don't know if you know me, I'm not a huge camper, but I am a huge like save the planet kind of person. And working for the DNR is kind of awesome in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so I had to share that with Mickey, and I got an email. I forgot that I applied. I applied yesterday. But I got an email about it today saying they wanted to set up an interview.
Yeah. So there's the direct win.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, right. We'll do a whole group clap. Okay, I'm going to share. I'm going to share a screen. We still have Jamie and going to jump in, but I'm going to start anyway. Cash Cow. Just a reminder. Some of you have taken the business classes. You're going to get the business classes that I do. There's actually some new information in here. So today's going to be one of those days where you're going to want to get a pen. I've got 40 minutes of content here. So if you want to get a drink, this is the time. You'll still hear me. This is recorded. You get an audio cheat sheet afterwards. So don't panic. But remember, a cash cow, right? You're really looking for something that's going to bring you some money and it's going to perform quickly. And for those of you who have taken other business classes, there's some other pieces that I like about a cash cow, right? I like a cash cow that can use existing resources, that you already know how to do this. You don't have to get out and go learn a new thing, that you can take something that perhaps you've already built or that you already know that's about and turn it into something that can be very quick. So I'll give you some definitions or some examples today. And we have done a lot of them in this class. But again, right, it's how do you make it so that it makes money all the time? So if you don't know you need one, So I'm going to give you guys a challenge by the end of the next week. Okay, I'm putting out a 7-day challenge to come up with something that could be a cash cow. Doesn't have to be the perfect one, but you should be able to come up with something that could go very well. So when you are looking at this from a business perspective, remember, it's something that if you have to put in a little bit of seed capital into, that's fine. You're going to recover your asset. But after that, it's going to just be able to make money. That's why people do this a lot, as classes or equipment or things that can consistently pay in again, right? The idea of why it's a cow, right, is because it provides milk every day, that it's going to give you that life force. And when you are looking at that, whoops, I pushed the button too many times. I'm looking for a cash cow is something that's going to have profit every single time. So once you, even if you just have to add a little bit into something, it's going to be profitable every time. You can't ever lose your keister on this. So that might be a class, right? That you guys have sometimes seen classes taught over and over again. Professors make their living on the knowledge that they gained, right? Their knowledge is their cash cow, right? That they are going to teach on this specific topic, or they'll write a book on it or something like that. It's fast, it's easy, it's repeatable. So when you look at that, think of it as a pattern, right? So if you're making something and you know how to make that, you have a pattern. Another way when we look at that revenue is that it has the ability sometimes to cross-pollinate. And I'll talk about that in the next slide. But again, it's kind of one and done. It's that you can kind of make that product and you don't have to add to it. You don't have to do all these other different things. It's a one and done. So if it's a class, you've created it, you can do it, done, made the money, come back, do it again, gonna make the money, right? You only have to, an asset is something that pays you money. So you're looking, again, when you're looking at that cash cow, you're looking to make your assets pay you money. And a lot of you have an enormous amount of assets that you've built, that you've written, that you've drawn, that you've learned how to do, that there's not an impoverished thought leader in the group here. And then we'll talk about vertical and horizontal integration. So when we look at cross-pollination, right, it's the ability to make multiple things bloom. So if you have an idea that can work in multiple places, that's what you're looking at, right? That something that you have can also make this thing over here go well. So sometimes it's that you're going to cross-pollinate between products you already have. Sometimes it's that you're going to cross-pollinate with partners, right? So a lot of times you'll see, if you've ever ordered something called Hello Fresh, right? This is a meal kit that comes to your door, and magically it'll come with little postcards from other companies that say, hey, do you want to do some pictures? Hey, do you want to join the wine club, right? These are cross-pollinating. And the reason that that's a cash cow for someone like HelloFresh is because why? They're going to get a kickback, right? That's a cash cow for them. They don't have to do anything except put that postcard in your dinner packet. So that's what I mean by cross-pollinating. Sometimes you don't have to do anything. You just have to be able to help that cross-pollination. And for your businesses, I would kind of write on the cheat sheet, right? Who are the cross-pollinators that you could cross-pollinate with, right? That's not just partnerships. That's really saying, hey, if that person buys this, they're really going to want that, right? So if they're really interested in my packet of dirt, they might be really interested in this fungus, right? They might be really interested. If somebody buys this snake from me, they're really going to be interested in the guy that has feeders, right? If I'm going to buy this coloring book, they're on this topic, they're really going to like this other thing. So it can feel a little rabbit hole-y, but it's really about making sure, figuring out what you connect with. Now, horizontal integration, right, is a lot of times around supply chain, right? You have vertical, right? Vertical, horizontal, right? So vertical is when you start to buy all the parts of the supply chain. So if you're a florist, I think it's easier to do a restaurant. I'm a restaurant, I buy a farm, I put my own stuff on it, right? Then they start to own their own supply chain. Horizontal is when you're really saying, look, that I'm linked to other things in the supply chain, or I'm linked to products that are like that. So that might be an add-on service, exactly like the HelloFresh box, right? That's horizontal integration. So that might be, Donna, for someone like you, that's really looking at how can you bundle your package with something else that somebody else has, right? Is there a way to integrate into something else? So you were integrated into the soccer, what to buy for somebody who loves soccer, right? So Sandy, your horizontal integration might be actually all of the people that you have that work with you, right? You have cleaning services, you have all these other things, staging, painters, so forth, right? These are other pieces. If we were going to integrate that into a cash cow, it would be to say, hey, here's my referral code. You should send me a check, right? You should send me a check. You guys, most of the time you will see this as a surprise, right? If you notice when you open a box like HelloFresh, the location of where those offers are critical. So if you have ever checked out at a supermarket aisle, you may have noticed that while you're waiting, there's these little walls of things that you can look at that have gum and candy, and now they have, lip gloss and lighters and all of those things. Interesting fact, those stands are not owned by the company that you're standing in. They are kiosks that are purchased. So Wrigley's bought that kiosk, or the newspaper or People magazine or that publishing house bought that kiosk, and they provide them for the store. So they just wheel them in and say, here we are, put us right here. So a lot of times that end of sale is that bonus purchase, right? That you're like, oh, I like gum. I'm going to get some gum. Oh, my mouth tastes terrible. Or you'll stand there and read a People magazine, right? And even if you don't buy that magazine, they've gotten something. And so they're watching how many times people pick up the magazine. So that's also part of their solution, is to see what that is. So sometimes you're really going to look at, in your cash cow, right? What are you selling at the end? So at the end of service, if I already sold you the house, you may want to go and by mail, here's these other services that you might need, that you may be giving away for free. One of the things that we have seen the largest amount of happen, this is my friend Jared, by the way, and you get to enjoy my photographs. So yay, surprise. So adventure and storytelling, this is my friend Jared. Jared and I did our thesis together in Brazil. So Jared and I get to go across the world together. And one of the things that has changed in our lifetime is something that everyone's just crushed over during the pandemic, right? What is everybody figuring out what they're going to do? They're waiting to travel, right? Everybody's waiting to go do something fun, adventure and storytelling. This has been the largest cash cow that we have seen in the last 15 years. If you start to remember, Google's not very old, right? Google's not very old. When did you start seeing the gypsy and the travel wagon, right? Now, before it used to be like you would buy a camper, right? And Brandon, I'm going to point to you right at this one, right? That now you got to have a big truck, and then you got to have a whole big thing that you carry, right? And now you can adventure across the entire country, right? Before, it looked very different than what it does now, right? But people want adventure. They want storytelling. They want to go hunting. They want to go camping. They want to go see a waterfall, but they also want to have something that happened. They want to have an experience. So when you're starting to look at your product, I do want you to consider it as adventure or storytelling. These are the largest, most critical things that have happened in all industry, because the everyday person can now do extraordinary things. They're looking for a deal. You've seen the adventure. You've seen Groupon, right? If Groupon just went through and said, "Hey, if y'all agree to sell it later, I'll get a new customer in your door," right? So you have these other pieces, adventure and storytelling. Another cash cow is just a place in line. If you have ever decided that you wanted a certain seat on a plane, that's a cash cow. If you decided that you wanted to maybe not just take an overnight case and you wanted to have luggage, that's a cash cow, right? That just having a place in line is something. So if we were going to look at, if you are somebody that bred dogs, right? You are going to put in for that dog before that dog even has its puppies. Someone's going to pay an extra amount to get first pick of the litter, right? People will pay to come into a store early. During COVID, what is interesting is that the stores were renting themselves out after hours. So these private stores were renting themselves out so that you and your family could come shop when there's nobody else there. So you would pay a premium for that, so that you could have a private person when everything was shut down. Hey, we still need stuff. Can we come in? So there's sometimes it's just having a place in line is your cash cow. And we know this from events, right? We know that there's a deal for early bird, right? That's a reduced price, or that you're sending out something that you get a discount at something, but really it's a cash cow. When you have an event and you have this early bird, a lot of times the early bird is there because that's how they're going to pay for the rest of the thing, right? They only need to sell 10 tickets to be able to pay for the hotel, right? So a lot of times that cash cow is also getting money to free up, to move, so that everybody else can get the door open and get it moved in. If you've ever seen these, right? How many of you have gone to something and you get a special photograph? This happens to be my son and his girlfriend at Danny's sister's wedding. So, right, that special day photograph. Sometimes you go to events and you get to walk away with a picture, right? Ready when you leave. It used to be, I'm old, so we used to, you used to go to Las Vegas and you would go to see a dinner show, and somebody would come over with a big camera and you would dress up for the show and you'd sit at your table and you get to watch Frank Sinatra or Elvis or an Elvis impersonator, and you'd go to this big show with this fancy table, and that was the thing, right? You would get a photograph. Well, you already paid for the ticket, you already paid for the dinner, you already paid for the drinks, right? That cash cow is that ability to snap a picture. So even when people have a cell phone, they're still having those special day photographs. That if any of you remember my trip to Gatorland, right? They really are crazy. Okay, wow. I guess I'm just learning how to use my machine. When you're thinking about what you have, right? I always remind people that unicorns are really interesting. I'm a unicorn fan. You might be too, right? I like things that are sparkly and kind of fun and so forth. But for those of you who are dealing in celebrations, if you're looking at cosplay, if you're looking at things, productions, right? Things that are fairy tales, right? That a unicorn is sometimes just bringing me in to a magical place. And so unicorns are, you're there to make a unicorn accessible. So if you're going to teach me how to, you know, how to own a house like this, right? You're going to make things that seem really hard, super easy, right? You're going to prep me for it. You're going to remind me that there's 10 different places that this could cost more, and we're going to hope to avoid all of them. But remember, there's 10 ways that this can cost us more, right? That, you know, if I come in with a better offer, it might work right away, right?
Can I say something about a unicorn?
Yeah.
Okay, so the coolest thing about the unicorn is Scotland did not have a national animal until the 60s, and they didn't have a tourism platform at all. To get people into Scotland to see how magical this place was, the national animal of Scotland is the unicorn now.
See?
So if
Even
you want to go
better.
see a unicorn, go to Scotland. Apparently that's where they were from.
Yes, and unicorns are magical beasts. I'll take that. And if anyone has a picture of a unicorn, please put it in the chat box. My God. My God, right? Oh, I feel like Danny's going to get one right now. I feel like she's going to bring us a unicorn. So when you look at the unicorn that you have, oh, I think Dawn's going to get one too. Wow, we might have a whole series of unicorns coming in.
Oh, turns out mine's a dragon.
Oh, a dragon. Perfect example. Perfect example. Oh, I feel like everyone's going to have some dragons and things. Yeah.
These are my daughter's headphones and they light up.
Oh, you rock. Yeah.
Where are
That's so awesome. That's so awesome.
Oh, they're there. Oh, cute. And then here is.
Yeah, here, hold on. Let's get to the big screen. Oh, and there's a dragon. Yeah, see? Everybody wants that. Everybody wants that. It's so fun. I feel, Brandon, I can't believe you don't have a dragon sitting next to you. Like, I don't know. That's crazy. Brandon also does lots of cosplay stuff. He's got like cool shit that you make. Oh, I think it's coming. Maybe we might get a tour.
It's on mute though, it looks like.
That's okay. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Here comes a dragon, possibly.
Oh, it's not a dragon. I got an orc. This one's
yeah,
on.
these are the ones you're making.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Brandon has what do you call that machine that you make that off of?
3D printer.
Yeah, 3D printer. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, but then he hand paints them and stuff. They're pretty boss.
And what was that one, an org?
Yeah, that was an orc. That wasn't one of my creations though, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you should highlight it one more time because we all will love an org.
All right, give me a.
He has great toys.
Brandon makes some pretty cool shit.
I'll get one of the bigger ones. These guys aren't done being painted yet, so they ain't as pretty as they're gonna be.
Okay, hold it up closer and hold it still. There you go. There's an org.
Okay, that's pretty amazing.
That's pretty amazing.
Do you do that for like Dungeons and Dragons campaigns? Is that what they're for?
That one was for Warhammer, which is a different type of tabletop, but
yep, played that one.
Right on.
Right on.
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna come back to screen share. So again, right? Everybody wants a unicorn. Everybody wants a unicorn. So when you're looking at that, I need you to think a little bit bigger about what is interesting to you or to the other people that are around you. I would look at, Christine, right? You're doing this all the time, right? You're helping people get to thoughts that are bigger. You're helping them figure out ways to look better. Janet Mills, you do this. You guide people through a process. Sandy Cleland, you are there to guide people through a process or to make their nerves not crazy, right? That you're there to kind of get people through. So I'm just gonna kind of beg you to go, all right, how does that become money? Right? How does that become money? How does that become an add-on? How does that become a guidebook? How does that become an event? How does that become an add-on? How does that become something else? And that's going to be your 7-day challenge. So look at that piece, or showcasing for good, right? That's another one that we see a lot of, is how can somebody showcase for good? I'm about to give you the superpower. This is my little grandnephew. And he is so cute, by the way. Let me just go back to him, because he's not this little anymore. That's Jesse. Hover integration. Here's the one that you want to really think about. And this is where you get the Mickey, right? When you look at how fast the world is moving, we are coming to the other side. And it isn't about move. You're going to see the next challenge that's coming in is this hover. How do we stay in place and take a deeper look at something smaller, right? How do we get an assisted tool? How do we get an aerial view? This is where you have models. Instead of DIY, it's done with you, right? It's a done with you model. It's that you don't have to do it alone. I'm not going to do it for you, but I can help you get bigger, better, right? That's what coaching is about, right? That's what having these other guides are. But this is to hover in on one specific topic. You're looking at this picture, you know it's 2 cows, but you're just going to focus on that bell. It's hovering in place, right? How do you make a bell? How do you find a bell? How do you do these other pieces, right? Or to explain something else, right? So think about that hovercraft of how can I focus in on one part of this? If you were a dog breeder, it might be the history of the dog line. It might be understanding what that means to the personality of your dog, right? So think about that hovering technique. That will be the largest change. It's not to say, hey, I just want you to make change in your life. We're going to say, hey, I'm going to teach you how to integrate carrots into your life, right? So that's the hover, that you're going to get much smaller and just go, we're going to come in right here and we're going to go deep on that subject. And why are we going to like carrots? Well, carrots are going to make your skin look better, right? Carrots are going to do all of these great things for your body. We're going to hover and deep dive. So for many of you, that might be another way to look at that. What can you use? What can you repurpose that you already have? I don't know if any of you have noticed this, but I talk a lot. And I had a friend of mine named Alice who would write down all of the things that I said because she couldn't believe that shit came out of my mouth. And some of you may have the same item where she's like, oh, hell. And so she'll randomly text me back shit that I said to be like, oh, hell no, Mickey Truth, right? So sometimes it's really learning to do this. And this is one of the ones that that she wrote down for me, right? She's like, oh, Mickey, that's liquid gold, right? Lean into the wiggly truth that wants to hide, right? So how do we now take that and now turn it into how do we repurpose it and become another product, right? Well, today it's going to become part of our class, but right, it can be a million things. So you saw quotography, right? Quotography is just really 7 years old and it is in the market everywhere, right? Everybody's got words, live, laugh, right? That everybody's got a sign in their house, right? That like, hey, this family's made of love. And that means the rules here, right? That we used to just have it shit that like your grandpa wrote on a thing to be like, hey, here are the man rules of this house, like the garage rules, like swearing is allowed, farting is allowed, or this is allowed, right? We all had these rule books, right? Or you had your mother's rules, right? On the other side, take off your shoes, put your backpack away, right? Now we have quotography where it's really all of these other pieces. So when you're looking at existing capital, you guys are, a lot of people here are thinking. You're thinkers, and you are, what I want you to kind of think about in the next 7-day challenge is really to go, tell me more about the questions in the process, right? So think about that hover, right? How do I hover over something, not the whole thing, right? But how do I hover over a question, right? How do I hover over, how do I, honest to God, this just came up where my neighbor called me and I'm like, and he lives like 2 blocks away. And he's like, Mickey, I really have an emergency. What is your emergency? And he's like, I have to put ink in this printer. And I knew, you knew it would do that. And I went, out of everyone on this block, why did you think me? And he's like, I feel like you use a lot of ink. Right? I feel like you use a lot of ink. Yes, I do. Okay, great. I'll come over and help you put that in, right? It's like, what part of his brain went, shit, who do I know that knows how to use ink? Mickey Mikeworth, that's my person, right? So
I'm that person in my family.
Yeah, see, you're that person,
Yeah.
right? We all are these people for other people, right? Of stuff, right? If you want to know something, that's another piece, right? You can start to look at why would someone call you? Now that would not have been in my resume of why you would call me, but now I can kind of add it in, right? Well, how do people see you, right? Ask questions about your process. It may be something as simple as you know how to do something, or you know how something works, right? Or that you know what not to do, that you have a lot of firsthand knowledge. So I'll give you an example. One of the things that I'm, always wowed about, Christine, I'll use you as an example, right? Is that you have done an enormous amount of work on getting somebody through a process of looking in the mirror, right? Of looking in the mirror. So when you look at product, how does that make, right? So how are you, not just to go, how am I going to walk that person through that process? How are you going to make everyone that doesn't want to do something actually enjoy the process, right? That's hovering, right? So now you have a product you sell to another coach, right? Hover, that you're doing those things. And Christine, I've gotten to watch some of your work on the other side, right? These are things that you're going to have to make somebody face that they want to wiggle and hide, but they all are going to do it, not because of you, because they want to do it for you, like a dog, right? I want to please you. They're going to do it because you've made it safe for them, or you've made a process for them, right? So think about it that way. Can your product fix something? I think that's another thing that, or fulfill a need. That may be another place where you can kind of look at that. So when you start looking at this process, it's the questions. And hover is going to be your magic tool right now. It's so amazing. So sometimes it's also looking at something old in a new way. I think that we have a lot of that when I look at all of the magic right now. Cosplay was popular. I mean, back in the day, like I remember the first Star Trek convention, right? And I remember being a young person being like, wow, where would I get a Star Trek pin, right?
Yeah.
Like a Star Trek pin in 1981 was like epic, man. It was like the thing. Now that Star Trek pin is worth a ton of different ways, right? But when you start to look at something old, it may be an old way that somebody's doing it. It may be the way that they're still accessing that information. How can you look at something that's old in a new way, right? When you start to look at vintage photography, vintage everything, that vintage is has always been a romance relationship for lots of people, but it is now you're seeing vintage take on a whole new precedent where you're seeing these vintage shops showcasing with brand new design, right? So you're seeing those designers twofold now, right? So they're putting in all of their new designs into a shop. If you haven't been to 50th and Xerxes right now, I think her name's Peachy, that she's going to take and put in her own designs because she's like a stick and lovely. And so she's going to put in her own designs, and then she's going to take in 80s stuff and make that cool. So she's taking new and old, right? Something old in a new way. If one of the things that came to you was the guide, right? I want you to think about that as the structure, right? It's a structure. It's something that you're going to help somebody position themselves in, right? What's the staircase? What's the door? What's the top? Where's the middle, right? You're going to give them a structure. So a structure in this image was, it's really hard to put a mask on a goat because their eyes are on the side. Right? Really hard to do this because you can't get their eyeballs no matter which way you look at it. So what's the answer? The answer is forget about the eyes. that people make up the eyes, right? They just make up. They're like, oh my gosh, look at that goat. So they when they couldn't see the eye of the goat, they just went, oh, look at the mask. Okay. Oh, and then they sort of figure out, oh yeah, goats have eyes on the side of their head. Oh, they're prey. Right? They had to see it from this way, not this way. So sometimes you'll look at that, but the structure is where I want you to think about that. Where's the door? Where are the stairs? How do you get through that process? This brings us to dog butt photography. Now, this is my dog Kip. This is his beautiful butt. He's passed away, but I don't know if any of you spend an enormous amount of time searching the internet, or there's this thing called Pinterest that's deadly, right? That some people are just interested in a point of view, right? So if you think about that point of view, I'm using dog butt as an example, but people who like to look at dog butt kind of like goat's butts. They kind of, right? They might kind of go there. If they like that, they might like a zebra, right? That whatever is that point of view that you have, here's how you sell a house. Here's how you start your art project. Here's how you plant something. Here's how you manage flowers, right? Whatever way was that original path, right? I can come in with dog, but you're probably also going to like it in another form, right? And I'll tell you something that people leap, and we know this from our nemesis. Everyone has this, right? Our nemesis friend called YouTube, right? How many of you have gotten into a hole there, right? You start out with one thing and then you just wander around, and suddenly, right? That's why they call it a rabbit hole. This is a goat named Mama, right? So if you like dog butts, somehow you're probably going to like a goat that smiles named Mama, right? This is where I need your head to think about, right? How would I YouTube rabbit hole into this conversation? If I like shopping for houses, I guarantee you knowing where I can get a rug for under $300 is impressive, right? If I like planting a garden, I bet that I'm going to like something that's a little close, but a little rabbit hole-y, right? So if I like a garden, I probably like rocks. And I probably like cool ass rocks, not just any rock. I'm going to want a sparkly, fantastic rock that's delivered to my door, right? So when you start looking at cross-pollinating, right? How do you want to do that? How are you going to look at something? So think about the rabbit hole. The other thing is, this is a picture of Karen Karsten that was for her 75th birthday. Was that your 75th birthday or your 70th?
That's awesome.
70? I can't remember. Anyway, I'm waiting. She's on mute. You're on mute. We can't hear anything you're saying.
I was doing sign language. You know.
Yes. What
I
birthday
think
was
that
this?
was 75.
75. So
Yeah.
this was Karen's 75th birthday.
And I'm half that age there. So
Yes. So, right, sometimes I took this from a photograph that I had when my mom was probably, she was probably 37 in that age. I think that's how long she grounded me to. She was so mad at me that she could only ground me for as many years old as she was. So she grounded me till I was 37. But anyway, so a lot of times you have some certain kind of magic. Janet Mills, I watch you do this all the time, right? You care about how you interact with that customer, how you showcase that customer, the paper, all of these things, because you're an art person, right? So you're going to put in your magic the way that you do it, because that's the magic, right? So Brandon, this is going to be for you as well, right? That you have a certain point of view, you have a certain style. Danny, this is going to come in for you. Dawn, you do this all of the time. If Jamie, I don't know if Jamie dropped in yet, but this is what Jamie lives off of, right? Is that she's going to put that showcase in her certain style.
Jamie didn't register, so she might not know how to get here.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw her thing come through. Okay. Anyway, this is any chance you could take a guess at what this person does for a living?
I think I recognize who that is. Is she the massager for the pets?
Whoop, I'm
Is
having
she a
trouble
dog
hearing.
chiropractor?
She's the dog chiropractor, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell in this image that she likes the dog?
No.
Right? that dog is like, just gonna put up with my camera. But the fact is that she's like, oh, right? You can just feel her loving on that, right? That when you are looking at what will attract people to what you do, it is always that answer. It is not what's wrong, it's what's right. It's what's right. And that's the unicorn, right? I can get you through this process and you can be happy. In her case, she likes these long dogs because they've got a long spine. And so she can tell you everything about this dog's spine. And who doesn't love, those long dogs, right? They're just so fun. They're short little legs and so forth. And of course she would own a dog. This is not her dog, but right? You want to express that peace and love. And I know that it sounds a little gooey and unicorny, but that's how it rolls, right? Happy people.
Thanks.
Everyone likes to be happy. And sometimes I'm going to be happy about something as dumb as a banana popsicle, right? Sometimes I'm just going to be happy about the fact that someone's going to come to my house and wash my floor, right? And you're going to give me somebody that's going to come in and wash my floor and not let my cat out, right? So when you are looking at those upsells or those cross-pollinating, sometimes it is just that piece. I have a cat, I'm going to love your cat, right? I'm an artist, I'm going to appreciate your art. I love growing things, you will too, right? I love this, I think you will too. So that's where I'm going to kind of leave this, and I'm going to open us back up. But looking at everyone that's here, I know that there's magic. So this is where the chat bar is going to come in really big. And this is where we're just going to kind of start coming into options. And I've got a couple of you to call on first, because Christine, I watched your head explode. I watched your head explode. What happened when that came? You got to unmute.
Well, I don't know. My head exploded several times. But I think what really just resonated is that the hover, that I'm not leading them. I'm behind them.
Right.
Shadowing them. And they're
Perfect
doing,
example.
they're leading.
Yep.
And that, yeah, that's key.
Right. So repositioning, right? Going back through and repositioning. Okay, Dawn, your light's on.
You know, this thing, I keep noticing everybody else I can see all your background, and for me, all I see is just this little glow right here, and that's it.
Right, right.
Hi, can you see me now?
Right, I can see now. Okay.
Pupils are really small, but I think like this, it kind of makes them a
Right, it's fantastic.
There you go.
It's
Hey,
fantastic.
Nice eyes.
Yeah, you only have one eye though. We can only see one at a time.
Yeah, I'm kind of like the goat.
Right, right. It's the goat.
Anyway, I would like it to be brighter in this. I got my overhead lights on. It looks bright in my room, but you guys.
I have no idea. I have no idea. But I watched you also have a little brain explosion. What did you? What happened for you?
Well, I wrote down almost every word of everything. The things that I highlighted. Where is it here? You used my name on it, so I had to put a mark there. Put your style into places where it wasn't there before. So I'm going to go back and look at that. But I liked the when you said people who like this may also like that, and that's there's a lot of things that's just how it goes with me too, where I fall down the different rabbit holes because of it, and so I'm into so many different things right now, and really great creative things. I just don't know where it's leading. Right now, I've been not building business. I've not been attempting to build business. So I've been instead saying that I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Right. It kind of feels nice.
You must not have heard that all the way. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, I heard that, and I'm like,
is?
to what?
I said, do you remember who my daughter is?
Yes.
She's 3. So for me to be a stay-at-home mom.
Oh, right. Yes. Yes. I got that.
Funny, but you didn't get it.
We got it. We got it.
Anyway, yeah, this is very good information so far. So thanks.
Okay, so rabbit holes. How many of you went, oh, I have a rabbit hole? Yeah. Okay. Now Brandon, I'm gonna go to you first. What's the rabbit hole that the things you're working on can get through? What can we add to your rabbit hole?
Don't know yet, but I know, like, we've talked about the cosplay stuff and my 3D modeling and whatnot. I know I can expand with that. I can go down lots of rabbit holes because I do the 3D modeling on my computer and whatnot, and I can like print anything. I printed some weird stuff, but yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, you're
My
allowed.
train of thought.
Yes, you're allowed. Okay, so Janet, what do you got?
I just want to shout out to Brandon for being here. And one lesson I'm learning from him being here is impact. So if I were him and I just came home from work and I was tired, it makes me realize that everything we need to do, if I were that tired, you really need to shine for me to listen, because all I want to do is sleep. So having Brandon here has made me think, like, gives me permission, like, to be out loud in life and not quiet, because I just want to be asleep if I was him. But also, I would be like, if he did his own characters and didn't have to worry about licensing, it'd be really fun to buy them and paint them yourself.
I think that's what you're doing, right, Brandon?
No,
You-
the user, the end user.
The user would paint them.
Yeah, the customer.
Because then they'd have like a part of it, not just to enjoy them, but they get to customize them. But if you sold like Orc, if you sold Warhammer or something, that'd be licensed, so that wouldn't work. But if you did your own line, she was saying rabbit hole, so you go from loving Warhammer to loving Brandon's stuff. I don't know. Is that what you mean by rabbit hole?
Yep.
Sorry to use you, Brandon, but anyway, so my thing is the opposite. It's not rabbit hole. It's when you said guide people through a process, lead them. So that's kind of the opposite of what Chris said, but I realized, whoa, I'm like letting them, I'm following them and making what they want come true. But
Right.
could I host them through the process? So it's kind of the opposite aha as Chris said, I think.
Right, because
I don't know.
Christine is saying that you're floating from the behind, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So Janet, you're the rabbit in this situation, not Alice, right? That's what you want to guide us through the rabbit hole, like the rabbit did with Alice.
I guess so. I love that. I love that.
Right. I might steal that.
You should.
I might steal that. Okay. Sandy Cleland, what are you taking out of this?
I'm taking that I have no idea.
I knew this was coming. I'm gonna let everybody come up with one for you. Okay. I'm gonna let everyone, because I knew Sandy Cleland would be like, I don't have one.
No.
Lies. It's lies. Okay. Can I unleash them? Okay. Everybody, right? We know Sandy. She's a realtor. She's having the best year of her life. She's got the hardest shit to do right now because everybody wants to buy something. She's got nothing she can sell. Okay. So give it to me. Get anybody who's got Sandy's.
First of all, Sandy, you're a rock star right now.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
So you're just going on to be a bigger rock star.
That was not the answer I was hoping for. I'm really hoping for a guidebook.
My cash cow.
So that's your cash cow, a guidebook on how to buy a house. Because I'm a millennial and I have no idea how to do it.
Right. So now, right, how do we rabbit hole that? Right.
Because that's a rabbit hole in and of itself. So
Millennial home buying.
Yeah, a target audience. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, I've seen millions of the guidebooks. I know, most agencies probably carry something like that. But if you have one targeted
Yeah.
for the
but also we don't know what we're doing, and we can go to Google, we can go to all these places, but there's no concise, condensed, here, step one, start
one.
here, step two,
Start here.
step three. There's none of that. And so there's no, we can't. We get flustered and then we're like, nah, it's fine, we'll rent. When that's not what we want.
Right. One of the things that I love about that millennial generation is they are the first Lego generation, whereas some of the rest of those, you have the Erector set kind of group.
Tinker Toys.
Yeah, Tinker. So you have Erector set, then you have Tinker Toys, then you have Lego, right? If you look at how Lego went from where Tinker Toys and Lincoln Logs and Erector sets used to be, right? It was very different, right? That when you had an Erector set, you would take it apart and rebuild something different, right? You may have a picture of something, but basically we have taken people through a process that's very specific, right? You buy an art kit, you buy the directions for Legos are, we're only going to build this specific thing. And that is something that's very uniquely different about that, how millennials were raised. They want a step-by-step guide of here's step 1, then step 2, then step 3, and there's a picture, and does mine match this, right?
And we're
they're very
open to
difficult.
learning. Like that's one of the things that I get so frustrated with right now.
Yeah.
Is that Gen Z, they're like, no, we don't want to learn. Millennials were like, we need to give us step-by-step instructions and we can put that IKEA furniture together. It's just gonna take us a minute to get there.
So are you telling me that IKEA furniture is built for you fuckers?
I 100% it's got to be built for my generation.
I hate you.
Oh, believe me, I hate the rest of us too. And whoever decided it was okay to leave the instructions in Swedish was, ooh, maddening.
Right? Damn it.
That's just a ploy to get Americans to learn another language right there.
It could be. Could be.
My son describes being a millennial as he grew up playing with all the toys you're describing, but then just at high school there was MySpace and the whole electronic world opened up. So they still have the creativity of youth that older people had, but then they have the connectivity of technology, but they weren't born playing video games.
Right.
Which is super nice for us. So the thing I would love to see is an online house buying guide for us, because we don't know what we're doing. And if we can put it together, like, you know, and if it's an activity, that's one of the things that we kind of stopped doing as millennials. And we like it. We love puzzles. People who play Candy Crush are my age. They're not Gen Zers. They can't figure it out. They can't get past level 10. And if we have a guide, if we know how to do it, and we go through this Lego step-by-step guide, you know, we're going to go to our friends and be like, hey, go buy this. Like, it's like, if you could set it up like TurboTax, where it's like, boom, boom, boom. Oh my God. It'd be the best.
It would be so fun. And
that is the biggest problem, is we just don't know how to do it. And there's too much out there to consolidate.
So you end up with Rocket Mortgage, I guess.
Yeah, so they look at mortgage tools for online for rates.
hey, Karen,
Yeah.
Jamie's trying to text you in a minute. So
Oh, okay.
she's trying to figure out how to log in.
I want to jump in on that millennial house buying website idea.
Yeah.
Actually, millennial myself, I think it's a great idea. And I also know that millennials like to dream big, pipe dreamers, you know, always thinking forward. So I don't know about everybody else, but when I was looking for my car, when I was saving up for it, I'd go on the different car websites and build out my dream vehicle like every couple weeks or so.
Me too.
Right.
And-
That they kind of want to build it and see it and what would it look like. So in that, there's a practical guide, right, Brandon? You kind of knew what you wanted.
Right. I knew what I wanted, but I also wanted to play with different ideas while I was working towards my goal. And so I both learned more about the vehicles that I was looking at, and I, got to daydream a little bit, got to plan ahead, what have you.
And I think that's the key item that I'm hearing from both of those people, Sandy, is that how do they play with the idea while they're doing the work? Right?
Love it.
How do I play with the idea while I'm working? Donna, that's a really good lesson for you too. Janet Mills, what else? You
What
got?
about Sandy, going after the older group who has houses to sell and they want to move into a senior living? And then you're targeting a crowd that's offloading houses that'll be snapped up like that.
I'm going to give this just 2 more minutes and then I'm going to go on to somebody else. Who else has another idea for her cash cow? And you can keep typing them rapidly in the side if you want. I'm going with house cleaning service. I think that referrals for you are a big deal. It's a natural way, but it's really looking at the partnerships on the back end.
The first thing I thought of too was house cleaner.
And that may be really specific of move out or move in clean, right? Something that you don't have your regular staff. So you have this group that you kind of hold dear and they're your little special secret sauce stuff. They're not the ones you're going to put into that other piece. You're really going to go, hey, cleaning company ABC, I'm a realtor. I'd like to send you referrals. How can we do that so that we can do that? Oh yeah, Christine put in lawn care, right? Things like that, where you can get a referral, but not have to do any more work. Okay, I'm liking that everybody's putting him in there, right? Getting the kickback, getting the other piece, or that they can give you something that's kind of magical, right? They may be able to give you a giveaway. They may be able to help you do some of the other things that you want to build in the community. So that may be that if you're partnering with them, you may even look at the cash cow is help me raise money for this, and here's our giveaway, right? Because you do a lot of community work. So, hey, we're going to send all of ours to Dave's tree trimming. Dave, at the end of the year, I don't need to give me money. Can you give me a tree trim for free? And then I can raise money for, children in Afghanistan, whatever. Okay, Donna McCurdy. I don't know. Do you guys have the same squares I do? Is Donna right here on your screen? No? Okay.
Just for mine.
She's up there. Okay.
Okay, so
Donna. Next is Donna.
You've heard me talk about the Soccer Bruce coloring book as a fundraising tool, and it's just really fitting into all those making things that are hard become easy. I mean, I can't imagine being on a fundraising committee is got to be everybody's favorite job. But talking to Janet, she said something interesting, which was, you should just get a sticker, like customize these books with a sticker. I had thought, oh, you design the outside cover and then it's your own. It could have your team picture on the front, but maybe you don't want to do all that. Maybe you just want to say, we want to sell 100 of those. Let's put our sticker on that book somewhere. Could be front cover, or and it's even just like to get rid of the stock that I have. What if we just put a sticker over the back UPC code and say how much you think you can sell this for? And all proceeds go to the Robbinsdale Robinettes, and and that helps them guide the process. I'm going to work with Janet to get a little brochure of like, here's what it could be, guiding that process, and hovering, helping people enjoy the process. The soccer birds are so cute and so new that it isn't just, I mean, I know some people said they like the wrapping paper. I think you said, Janet, but I think people are a little bit tired of buying poinsettias and wrapping paper, and the coloring book could be a lot of fun, something new. So it has its own little magic like that. And a rabbit hole I thought could be, hey, how many kids are on your team? Maybe you want here's a discount on t-shirts, or maybe we can arrange to have them have a little bag to sell the books from, and you know, all stuff that's branded, Soccer Birds branded. Hey, Jamie Ann.
Jamie's here. She's in Cabo. Are you in Cabo?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, jealousy.
Okay, give us a quick update and then I'll review class.
Just been working with Mickey a little bit and working on my task for her to get done with that, and been celebrating my birthday for the last week in beautiful Cabo.
That's a good life. That's a good life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
My
I'm gonna go
breakfast
back.
view.
Oh yeah, your view is record breaking.
Can
And
you
then,
stop by the table again, please?
right,
Right there.
and then just for everybody, she's up for an award, so she put it in the link.
I asked her to put the link in.
Oh,
so
good.
she's going to, yeah.
So put the link in, you know, we definitely want to see her doing well. Okay, so I'm gonna just quickly go back through. Does anybody have any last questions before I do the review again?
Well, did Donna finish?
I think, Don, did you finish? Did I just ruin your life?
Let's see. So I mean, I didn't have a whole lot more to say. I mean, I think that it's true though that this fundraising is the cash cow, right?
Yeah, fundraising is your cash cow. And that's a bravo, by the way, because I wouldn't have thought of that. You get an A right there. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. We're going to go back to the very beginning and just kind of walk through those slides again so that you can take down any notes that you, whoops, apparently I'm just going to make you a new slide or not. So remember, a cash cow, right? It's portable, it's quick. This is what you're gonna kind of put in. It's an add-on that when you look at that cash cow, what you're really remembering is that it's always gonna make you money. It's not gonna take a lot of resources that you have from right now, right? So this is not a lot of R&D. You're gonna use the tools that you already have and package it up a little differently. Every single business model needs a cash cow, every single one. And when you think about a cow, right, that's the whole purpose, right? It's going to give milk every day if you feed it. It's kind of fantastic. So, right, that's the point of it. It's always yielding. And for you, it's always yielding profit. So when you start looking at that, one of the other pieces from that is that you don't have to keep putting money into it to get back your investment. So you're looking to get whatever you invested in it back. And then after that, it just perpetually continues to grow. So we use that as a class. You may invent a workbook. You may invent something as an add-on, right? You only have to do it one time. A cash cow has profit every time. You can't ever lose your shirt on this. That it's not, you can't price it wrong. It doesn't use a lot of material. It is just, it's going to be profitable every single time. It's going to be fast. It's going to be easy. It's repeatable. And we talked about cross-pollination, right? It's a one and done. So a lot of times I like these as things that you already know how to do. So when you look at a cash cow, if you are someone that dyes, makes tie dyes, right? So if you know how to tie dye and you know how to tie dye in specific ways, your cash cow may be teaching other people how to wrap these amazing tie dyes, right? One and done. And then we talked about these other two pieces, which are vertical and horizontal integration. We'll go into that again. Cross-pollination, right? That's multiple things that can bloom. So it means that when you're looking at partnerships, when you're looking at products, so if I have a product that works in my business, it may work in somebody else's business. So if I have a guidebook on how to, and we had some of those guidebooks, right? How to take a picture of a dog butt, right? That might be exciting to a dog owner, a dog breeder, a rescue, right? There may be other places my product can be positioned, right? Or there may be other partners that can do that with, right? So I might be able to bring in a cross pollinator. I'm having a birthday party. Here's the balloon company. That balloon company, I just have to call them and I'm going to mark up their work, right? So it may also just be marking it up. The horizontal integration, this is the one that you want to kind of remind yourself about. Vertical integration is right up and down. Horizontal is flat like a table. So vertical is when you are going to own other parts of the supply chain. So if you're a restaurant, then you want to own your supply chain of food. So then you would have bought a farm, you would have had that certain relationship so that you would own the entire system. Most of you are going to be working on horizontal integration, right? Which is that you're going to link to other players in the supply chain or with products that are related or add-on services. We use the example of HelloFresh, right? When you open one of those meal boxes, there's other orders in there. There's other offers. There's other things that HelloFresh is going to make money on. HelloFresh is going to charge you as those postcards aren't free, right? That other company has to pay to have that postcard put in, and they have to pay to print the postcard, and they have to pay if it actually works. So 100% of the risk is taken on by that partner, not by HelloFresh. Right? And that's a key item when you're doing horizontal integration, right? You're not taking on any risk with that partnership. Surprise, right? When we look at that end of sale bonus, right? We talked about that when you're standing in a checkout line, right? That these are the things that you're going to also get, like when you check out of something, any online thing where they're like, hey, bonus offer, right? Buy right now and we'll send you, this, that, the other thing, right? If anybody's been on Vistaprint, oh my gosh, they are the king of surprise bonus, right?
Yep, always.
Hey, congratulations on those business cards. Don't you need? And then they automatically take what you have and they put it into 6 different forms and you're like, oh, I love it as a keychain. Oh, I love that. We talked about, this is my friend Jared. The last 15 years, where is the money at? The travel industry, right? Adventure and storytelling. This is where the money is at. And you have a captive market right now that we're all watching, Jamie in Cabo, right? But everybody else is waiting to go travel, right? They're chomping at the bit, but everyone wants an adventure or they want the storytelling. That's why Instagrammers and all of those people are so interesting, right? They're giving that visual adventure and storytelling. So you may look at, right, how to have an adventure through your crisis.
Can I put in something on here?
Yes, right here. Yes.
Ashley actually has.
Oh yeah, this is Ashley completely.
Oh, absolutely. But she found out that Disney actually was watching her on TikTok, and she has verification of it because her with her travel agency, their contact person in Disney, his name is Frank. He was part of a group of people being trained on something, and they actually used her video, and now he's following her, and she's got like maybe 5,000 followers or something like that, and she's doing really good on it. So she's trying to increase her daily activities on TikTok.
Right.
But Disney actually knows she exists now, so now she's trying to hide her other, other than her cosplay, she can do that, but the Tiny Diva she cannot.
Right.
So it's really
right. And that adventure and storytelling. I mean, she's great at that.
Yeah.
You should
hooray for her. Yay.
Yeah, yay for Ashley.
That's
Where
amazing.
is Ashley?
She's like me. We're both kind of just hibernating a lot.
All right.
So
Well,
but
put her
Vince
stuff
is
in
me,
the
like,
chat box.
3 times this last couple of months. So she spends a lot of time there. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So this is another place where you can kind of look at that. A little dirt don't hurt. This is also a good one for you, right? How do we story tell? How do you integrate this with reading hour? How do you integrate, right? What are the books on plants? What are the stories that they can build? You know, how can we do a Harold and the Purple Crayon activity at home, right? How can we do all these other pieces, adventures and storytelling? We also went through, right? Sometimes it's just saving someone a place in line, right? That you, for any of you who like a certain seat on an airplane, any of you who would like advanced tickets, that a lot of times that sometimes the cash cow is just the availability to have access. That may be the availability to have access to you. That may be the availability to have access to your product. That may be advanced whatever, that people will pay a bonus for that. We talked about how many shop owners would allow people to pay them so that they could have people shop in their store without anyone else there. So they would open up after hours and they would just let in that one family. We saw this in an enormous amount of hiking, biking, and other stores, right? That had physical big ticket items so that you could come in just one person, you would have the whole store to yourself and go through all the ski wear or be fitted for a bike or be fitted for running shoes.
Also,
pardon me?
I was just gonna say, have you ever, like, okay, in the spring they have the textile center has the textile rummage sale, and you can pay $5 for the first night. That's that's a cash cow.
That's a cash cow, right? You'll pay to get in early to a yard sale. You'll pay to get first pick at other things. They may do that as well.
Here's a big one, furnace companies.
Okay, give it to me there. What do you
Furnace
got?
companies, you have a membership for whatever $100 or something a year, and then you're first on the list when it's 20 below and your furnace is out. You're top of the list.
Exactly. I love it. So again, a membership is a cash cow, right? We talked about special day photographs, right? That it's still there. They're still doing them. They're still making them cute. You know, if you're having an event or if you're doing cosplay or if you're doing some of these other things, really still a cash cow. We talked about the unicorn, right? Make your unicorn accessible. Jamie, and what you miss is everybody brought in unicorns and dragons. Oh, and here's a little dirt don't hurt is going to put on her unicorn hat, her unicorn thing. But again, right? How people access their unicorn, their little magic pieces, right? That we don't want to know how to have more pain, right? We want to know how to have more magic, how to have, right? Hard things become easier. We want to invite bigger thoughts. We want to look better. We want to make someone else look better. We want to help other people achieve, that we want to guide a process. We want to keep people calm. You know, sometimes things are really crazy. So you are, when you're thinking about that cash cow, think about something that you just go, oh gosh, I need this, right? Oh, I have always needed this. I can't believe they didn't invent this sooner. I can't believe I didn't invent this, right? Think about those pieces where you're like, oh, I need this. And those are the ones that are always winning, right? I didn't know I needed a set of headphones that also had a set of ears, right? And a unicorn head. So for Donna, right, it is also taking existing stock and pushing it into a new format so she can clear that stock out and make room for new stock. When we start to look at, right, the next one, right, this is where I want you guys to focus in on. This is where the superpower is of what's coming next And you can quote me on that. And now that I pointed out, you're going to see this everywhere, right? It is hover integration. So it's not vertical integration. It's not horizontal integration. It's hover integration. When we look at this picture, we're looking at the bell, right? You're going to stay in one place. How do I take a deeper look? Why do I do it this way? How do I assist you to do something? Not how do I do it for you, or how do you do it yourself, right? It is hovering in over something. So we were going to hover in. I used the example of carrots, right? We're not going to talk about all the food groups. We're going to talk about carrots. We're going to hang around with carrots. We love carrots because it does this. It makes your skin beautiful. It does this other thing. We're going to talk about this 10 ways to cook carrots. You can grow carrots. They have pink carrots and red carrots and yellow carrots and purple carrots, right? We're going to focus in and hover over a specific minuscule topic. If we were standing in the field with these cows, you wouldn't have said, "Ooh, let's focus in on that tiny little bell." Right? It's easy to look at the whole scheme. It's easy to look at the wide, right? So again, think about hover integration on your brand. Focus in on the tiny thing. So if I were going to focus in on the tiny thing for Sandy Cleland, right? It is really how to pay somebody to wash your baseboard so you don't have to paint. Right? Hover in close, right? How to do something that's smaller. What you have is really looking at that existing capital. What can you repurpose? The example was that Alice Berry writes down all the crazy shit I say, right? So she'll send me a text of something that I've said. So now I can pull that forward and make it into something else. The questioning is the process, right? So the process is asking yourself different questions, and that will help you find where's your cash cow, right? How can you hover? This is just to lead you into hovering. Ask questions about the process that you're taking someone through. How do they know if the soil is working? How do they know if this artwork is going to work? How do I know if I need a designer? How do I know if I can do this way? How do I know how much it costs? How do I know, right? How long does it take, right? There's so many other ways. So when you start to look at, are you there to fix something? Are you there to help them fix something? Are you there to be with them while everything goes poorly? So if you are looking at, I'm trying to make something or do something with my hands, right? We have lots of guidebooks for things like that. And when you think of a guidebook, I do want you to think about it as the structure, right? Where's the door? Where's the stairs? What floor am I on? How do I know what floor am I on? How many floors are there? Where's the top? And how do I get back out, right? A guide is a structure. So again, looking at something old in a new way, we talked about the change in vintage, right? How vintage has changed. So now you're seeing vintage not just sell old stuff, you're seeing designers pair their new product with old stuff, right? There used to be some place called Rag Stock, right? If anybody went to a store called Rag Stock, right? That you went there because it had all these other things. Rag Stock realized that they could actually make just as much money if they sold new product in there, right? So you don't see just old stuff in there. You see old stuff now is only 25% of what they have. So sometimes they're pairing something old with something new. You're seeing mass magazines showcase pictures that they took in 1953 as content, right? If you look in Vogue magazine, they're focusing on Vogue magazine from a different year and showcasing it again. They're putting all of their old pictures up for sale. So something old is something new, right? And again, it's a guide is a structure. We talked about this, taking this picture, right? that when you look at this picture, you go, oh my God, he's so cute. But again, it's really hard to take a picture of a goat with a mask because his eyes are on the side of his head, right? I'm never going to make eye contact in this picture. So, you know, having people kind of figure out, oh, okay, well, but if I just tell you, did you know that the goat had eyes? Yes. Yes. You just make up his eyes, right? But you look at that and you go, oh, it's a goat in a mask. And this was a real little girl, by the way. I was in Santa Fe, and this is this little girl who had a goat, and she brought her to school all of the time, and it was a school day, and she has a tutu and all this other stuff. And so I had to sit and chat with her dad about what a good parent he was to take the goat in the minivan every day to take the kid to school. Right, we go to dog butt photography, right? Here's where we start to go to rabbit holing. I want you to think about your rabbit hole, right? So somebody who likes dogs might like dog butt photography, right? And if they like dog butt, they might like goat butt. They might like other types of animals that have this view. And if they like the rear end, they might like the front end, right? They might like the storytelling around that. Hey, come and look at a goat that knows how to smile, right? If you go back to the world of the circus, right? Look at the bearded lady, look at this. People are genuinely excited to know something, to see something they don't normally see. Then the other slide is that, right? Put your style into things where they weren't there before. So if you have a certain showcase, this is a picture of Karen Karsten, and all I did was just put my little artsy self stuff on it, right? So it may be that you have some way that you can put style onto something. This is what every house showcaser does, is they go in and they take what's existing and they either move it off or re-showcase it, right? Because a stage home really has a look, right? A staged window, if you're a store owner, really has a difference. If you want to know how Instagram made their whole thing, it's that people put their style into things that weren't there before, right? When you take a picture with your phone of your lunch, it's going to look really different if an Instagrammer's taking it versus I'm just going to send this to my grandma, right? So that Instagrammer is going to put it all together. They're going to put their own style on it.
I noticed the latest change in my camera on my phone is that it has a food setting.
A what setting?
Food setting.
Oh, you're kidding. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
My new phone has that too.
Yeah.
See? Wow.
But it doesn't,
The food setting's been on Androids forever.
well, it wasn't on my Android. So
No, that's weird.
Yeah, it's food setting. There you go, right? It's here. Let's photograph this. Apple is behind all of you. It doesn't have that at all. Right? So we talk about this face, right? Expressing in love. Right? Showcase what is there. Showcase happy people. Showcase what you're going to help somebody achieve. Right? So if you're going to help me plant a garden with 9-year-olds, then I'm going to want to see a lot of proud 9-year-olds, right? I'm going to want to see a lot of happy parents. I'm going to want to see happy parents that are doing this with their kid and not wanting to wring their neck, right? I want to be able to see the thing that Brandon made me, that I painted by myself, look just as good as his, right? Or I want to see 20 other versions of that same character. Right? That's why cosplay is so interesting, is that everybody's going to showcase it differently. And this is where we kind of left, right? We have a 7-day challenge on the table for everybody that we're looking for. That's in the next 7 days for you to think about something that you can use as a cash cow. So,
and how did you want them to update?
I was going to ask them that right now. I'm going to stop my share and bring us back. Wow, fun fact from Dirt Little Hurt about carrots. If you grow them under your tomatoes, you have more flavor. Wow. That's good to know. Okay, how do you guys want to check in on your cash cow?
They could check it on the NW2 Facebook page or your page.
Yep.
Or any of those. That's just a suggestion.
I like it. Facebook page, or you can post on my page, right?
Mhm.
Does
Or
NW2 have
mine.
an Instagram?
It does not.
No.
Or you put it on Rich Chicks. Yeah, so sorry. We don't have enough to do on Instagram. We just follow you.
That's right.
We just
NASA
follow-
commented on my moon picture, so I'm set
Right.
for life.
You know, if you guys have an Instagram that we should know, you should put it in here. If you want some friends, we can do a call out here.
What if we just want friends and we're not on Instagram?
Right, right. If you just like some friendship, just stick your notes in.
Yeah, I have one other thing.
Oh yeah, give it to me.
Yeah, that you could put in the chat box there about your stock class.
Oh, stock class. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got to put in the link. The stock class. If you want to come to stock class, the next one is seed capital. Funny that you should talk about that. So that's on my regular page. I don't have a link for it right now, but you can just hit me up. Sandy's been to that, haven't you? Did you go to stock class? Whoop, you're on mute.
You just had one on Monday, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have you taken stock class before, Sandy?
I think I went to the first 3.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to take number 4 on Monday. Yeah.
Man's link didn't work for me when I typed it in. I wonder if it was spelled right, or can you do it again? For the for the voting.
Oh, I got there.
Did
Oh,
you?
you did?
I got,
Yeah.
didn't work.
And I voted. So
Oh, cool.
Well, we were on the page. Well, there you go, Jamie, and you got 1 vote today. There. Oh, she's got a new.
Oh, I wasn't
voted
going on
too.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made the first round, so the
I
top.
was going on something
top-
else.
I
Sorry.
made the first round, so this is the second round. And to make the top 10, and I'm number 4 right now in my
Right.
group. But I have to be number 2 in my group to make the top 10.
Okay.
and you have to sign into Facebook also in order to finish the vote. So be prepared with your password.
Today, all votes are 2 for 1.
Oh,
It
my
also sponsors hunger. So
If you buy some votes, then it goes towards like to fight hunger or whatnot.
right.
well, what else would a chef do but fight hunger, right?
Well, I'm in the group called Hero Group. So,
Mhm.
and that means like part of what I'm doing is to create something for youth. Just the disparity in African American women in cooking and being able to provide that for young youth and giving them another way to make money.
All right. Okay. And then if you put in your Instagram, we'll just start following him. So that's kind of another bonus today. Let's see. I'm still on Christine. Okay. Sorry, I'm Instagramming. If you guys are kind of putting in those pieces. Okay. What else do you, before we leave, last pieces, what are you walking away with? What's your big win? I'm just going to do round robin. Brandon, I'm going to start with you. What are you taking away?
Oh,
Hope not.
all right, I'm back.
You're back. What are you taking away?
Be a shiny unicorn
The shiny
and
unicorn.
go down many rabbit holes.
Right. I think that's the right answer. All right. Good. Dawn, what are you taking away?
For me, is spending some time looking at this challenge and actually coming up with a few ideas.
Good, good. Sandy, what are you taking away?
Well, same as Dawn, I have a lot to think about. I think the best, I mean, one suggestion that I could grab onto would be to putting together the buyer guide for millennials. I mean, I already have a buyer guide that I present to people. I mean, you know, I do it, well, I used to do it in person. Now I do it over the phone, but they have a little booklet, but I could, you know, write it in a way that it's just a sit and read book.
Yes.
You know, whereas now it's a book that I go through with them. It's not one to just sit there and read. So to figure out how to, you know, just to write it all up and then figure out a way to have people buy it.
Right. I love it.
It is trying to figure
I love it. And I just need you to know that Danny's putting up the heart sign. You didn't see it.
I saw her.
Yes. Okay. Janet Mills, what are you walking away with today?
I think more how I can help my customers go down rabbit holes.
Yes. I like this. I like this. Okay. Dirt don't hurt. Danny, what are you taking?
I'm really taking that I need to create a cash cow that is more directed towards children.
Yeah.
Kind of going away from, I think I originally wanted to be like classy, cute little florist for, you know, adults. But let's face it, I'm never going to grow up. I'm 30 this year.
Yeah.
Growing up is optional. So,
story of my life.
Right? I think you were the first person to tell me that growing old was mandatory, but growing up was optional.
Yeah.
I took that a little to heart. And just sort of making things my own, and really bringing fun to things. I have a whole line in mind of bouquets that are designed around the Disney princesses right now. Different movies. I have a Wizard of Oz one in my head.
Right. So let's cross-pollinate those, right?
Yeah.
With all of those things. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Donna, what's your big win today?
So this concept of the generic fundraising book, I mean, it's kind of like there's one is to get rid of product I have. Another is to design a generic fundraising tool that's not special. But the thing that's coming to me right now is, you know, I could put my own ads in a generic book. And indeed, my brother's a specialist in sales, so I could talk to him and consult with my very own sales expert.
Yes, this
Yeah.
is great. This is great. Okay, Christine, did I already do you? Yeah. Christine, what are you walking away with?
I was just typing in there because I was gonna sign off, but you know what I was starting to write is that I just really need to figure out what that is. I don't really know what that is in this business anyway that I'm doing. I mean, I have other ones that, you know, I'm a rep in individualized nutrition company, and so that brings in money, but that has nothing to do with, well, maybe it does have something
Well,
to do.
that might be your cross-pollination.
Yeah. So that, you know, I just really have to figure out what that is, and I have been kind of trying to work on that, but I haven't made it a priority, I guess.
Okay. Do you want me to throw that out to the group real quick? Do you want to give them 2 minutes on that? Sure. Okay, right, coaching, women, it's in the chat box. Can anybody give her any ideas around?
I just came up with one, like, I mean, just as far as the horizontal, who are your horizontal is, there's authors, not too many, because I've looked for these books, which are about how to make housework more equitable in relationships. And there's a new one out, and I haven't read it yet, but I will be. And what marriage counseling situation isn't about that relationship to the domestic dynamic. And so you could be like, you could get just the cards from those authors, and you could have those on your table. I mean, or you could be sending those out.
Yeah, but and so on that piece, Christine, I would like to see that as other products that you can cross-pollinate. What I took out of that was, right, here's my referral book list. Here's my Amazon list that may interest you. They can order it off Amazon. You'll get a kickback off of that.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody else put in here general counselors to recommend, right? They can't give you a kickback, but they can, again, cross-pollination. That may be a different type of work that somebody can do. A lot of times that there may be physical work to do, right? So they may need some body work. They may need somebody to help them with stretching or other things. When people are going through growth in one area, chances are they're going through it in many areas, right? And I like, Donna, what you said about those independent authors or the books, is that we can really lead back to that independent author. We can buy right from the author. The author themselves will get the money because they can direct sell. And then,
but also the cleaning services part, is probably a dynamic that maybe the fella thinks housekeeping is too expensive or whatever. I don't even know what one dynamic in the couple might say we can't afford a housekeeper. Another dynamic is saying, well, look, that's the problem. And to then say, okay, well, here's some housekeepers who, oh, by the way, if you do decide to make that decision, here's the list of vetted housekeepers,
Okay. So
a little bit like you were talking with the realtor.
Right.
That gets my mind like, kind of
Christine,
open.
It's like, Christine,
go ahead.
You're not selling the house structure, you're selling the relationship structure. So I would just think there's a lot of, with the realtor, you're selling a different kind of real estate, but it's still a really valuable
that gives me some stuff to start at least opening my brain, because it was pretty closed. So that's helpful.
Before I sign off, any last ones for Christine? Okay, was this helpful?
Yes.
Okay, a lot of you had a cash cow before, but this one was different. So I'm glad you're here. Brandon, we're glad to have you in class. Thank you for coming through. Jamie, and thank you for coming even late from Cabo.
Yes. And you're invited back next month. I don't know what the subject is, but it'll be fun.
Oh yeah. But I know.
But I don't.
Okay. Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.